On the night of the 18th of May, approximately 45 minutes before the play, the proposal was due to open. I received communication from a young man called Barnaby Wallace. Barnaby Wallace claimed to be a famous pianist, and Mr. Wallace wanted to show his piano skills to me in the hope that eventually he might be able to lend his skills to the theatre or to the arts. I agreed to meet Mr. Barnaby Wallace in the Orange Grove, just outside of Saint Denis, a lovely house with a piano, somewhere out of the way, somewhere where we can listen to his skills. I took my dear sweet friend Rodney with me, so that if anything did happen, he'd be there for protection. Unfortunately, the worst happened. Mr. Barnaby Wallace was not Barnaby Wallace at all. It's a fake name he used. He declared that his real name is Kelly Jackson, and that he lives in Armadillo, and that he saw my advertisement for the drama club, and he didn't want anything from the East seeping into the West. He claimed that the West and the East were separate, and they didn't want the East infiltrating, ruining what they thought was a way of life that they enjoyed. A week before this meeting with Mr. Jackson, the theatre had been vandalized. Mr. Jackson said to me, "You may have noticed that the theatre has been vandalized. Unless you want the theatre to continue to be vandalized, you will pay me $150 per week, or you will find that the theatre will become vandalized every week." By way of compromise, I offered him all of the profits from the show that day. We were estimating about $600. $600, leave us well alone. You will never come to the East again. I will never come to the West. We can all leave this brush under the carpet. Rodney was with me, of course. Rodney told me to go to the law, so we did that. We made our reports to the law. And I later received a telegram from Mr. Jackson saying that he found out that I had gone to the law. And now, rather than trying to extort me, he was now threatening my life. I spoke to as many people as I could in Saint Denis, friends, acquaintances, those involved in the theatre. They rallied around. I found out who my real friends are, and the hunt started for Mr. Kelly Jackson. Weeks went by. Mr. Jackson couldn't be found. I wrote to him one night when I was very angry. I said, "Mr. Jackson, you make sure you look over your shoulder, because it's not just the law that's looking for you. No, it's the people of Saint Denis, people who you've never met. So make sure you look over your shoulder everywhere you go." I regretted this when I woke the next day, but the message was there. I later tried to write to him again, maybe 2 or 3 days later, and I offered an olive branch. I said, "Let me give you some money. Apologize, the whole thing can blow over." And I didn't hear anything from him again. Skip forward 1 week. My friend, Mr. Arthur King, Mr. Bobby Bones, and I traveled to Armadillo to see if we could find Mr. Jackson, to see if we could find anybody that knows anything. We spoke to a couple of the townsfolk. We spoke to Cecily Caldwell, who I'd previously known from a conversation in Rhodes. She was now working in Armadillo. We were under the guise that we were scouting for moving picture locations, when really we were looking for Mr. Jackson. Our search for Mr. Jackson, we couldn't find him. But we got questioned by a number of the townsfolk in Armadillo as to where we come from, who we are, what we're doing out here. Not one of us gave our names, not one of us gave our locations. We left Armadillo with our tails tucked between our legs, not being able to find Mr. Jackson, not being able to find anything worth of investigation. skip forward a couple of hours. Drama club well attended as usual, 15 or so members. There I am, having a chat with Keanu. Next thing I know, Mr. Arthur King comes running into the foyer of the theatre. "There's a bomb," he says. "Everybody get out." I run into the theatre. There's a huge explosion. Fragments of glass shatter above my head. I fall to the floor. The smell of burning oil and the fragments of glass are surrounding me. I glance across at the sidewalk and there's Mr. King. He's on fire. He's rolling around, trying to extinguish the flames. Somebody throws a coat on him to try and extinguish the flames, but the damage is done. Mr. King will never be the same again. After several days, Mr. Arthur King comes round. He's very badly injured. His body is covered in bandages. He's drinking opium solutions like it's water. He has a raspy breath. And in between those raspy breaths, he talks of vengeance, of a war. His previous military background comes to the fore. He talks of all the things he wants to do to these perpetrators, to these criminals, to the West. Over the next couple of days, Mr. Arthur King holds various meetings with individuals in the gazebo opposite the theatre. Lots of eyes and ears are feeling their way to the West. Mr. Arthur King is a changed man, a different beast altogether. He scares me. I'm frightened of him. I'm frightened of what he's going to do. I write to Mr. Kelly Jackson, and I ask him, "Were you involved in the attack on the theatre?" Days passed with no response. And then out of the blue, a telegram is received by myself. "Mr. Kelly Jackson wants to meet with me." What fitting location to meet but the Orange Grove again, where this all started. Mr. Jackson.
Mr. White?
How do you do?
I'm in my prime.
Good. Why do you are so interested in meeting with me?
Well, I figure, what I want to tell you is that the shit that happened at the theater, there ain't gonna be nothing else going down. There ain't gonna be no more bloodshed. There ain't gonna be no more violence. Unless you choose there to be. It's your move, so to speak. And you got people out looking for me. That includes the law, includes your people, whatever. I don't give a shit. I'm used to it by now. Believe me, I ain't looking over my shoulder for no Dickie fucking White. What I want to tell you is if you do choose to retaliate, expect the consequences, but it is very much your move.
I see.
This can end right here, right now. But only if you want it to. Decision is yours.
Dear boy, I never wanted any of this in the first place, you know. You remember we had the conversation here nigh on 3 weeks ago, and I said to you that I would be willing to give you some money and do whatever I need to do to help. And then that's all I've ever thought about. I was in a very, very dark place when I sent you the threat telegram, and I am apologizing to you now for that, Mr. Kelly Jackson.
All right.
And I
Accepted.
Yes, and I will instruct the people to call off any of the work that we're doing. and I hope that we can at least prevent some sort of war.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we can do that. The, overarching, let's say, message to go out is that the shit you do out here, out in the East, it don't really belong out there in the West. It just don't fit. Now, going forward, you stay clear of me, I'll stay clear of you. You just stay the fuck out of New Austin. That's all I need. I don't need no money, I don't need nothing. Out there we live rough, we live hard, it ain't safe. We like it that way, we're gonna keep it that way. You jeopardized that, so we brought that danger to you. Don't do it again.
Yes, I see. Upon reflection, I agree with you. I feel that trying to bring people from the West to a drama club might not have been everybody's cup of tea, old boy, so I appreciate that. It comes from a place of naivety and willingness to try to bring people together, but having done a lot of speaking to people about the West, I see that it was a mistake on my part, and I feel that I take your point. Stay out of the West. Certainly, what I do, I have no interest in going that way, and of course, we can draw a line under this now.
All right. I guess all I ask is I can imagine that my name been falling off your lips pretty easy recently, especially if you got people looking for me. I want that to continue, but I want the message to be different. I don't want the message being go out west and look for him. I want the message to be stay the fuck away from him. For good reason.
Yes.
So you tell your little friends, anybody you affiliated with, any organizations in the city that you think might be lurching out west, tell them to stay the fuck out. That goes for the entire East. Anybody you friends with, all of y'all. It's not a safe place for you out there. None of y'all.
Yes, I see. Point taken. Yes, of course. I will do that, Mr. Jackson. I will speak to those who I've spoken to. It may take several days for the message to get out of here, but I shall do exactly that. I shall speak to everybody who I've spoken to and pass on that message, Mr. Jackson.
All right. Anything else?
May I ask one clarifying question?
Go for it.
This attack on the theater with the oil wagon, was that yourself or was that others?
I wasn't there for it, but I was aware of it. I helped plan it. I knew all about it.
I see. Yes, of course. I understand. In that case, would you do me one small favor?
Yeah.
If you see Miss Cecily Caldwell in the Armadillo Saloon, I have written to her my apologies, but if you wouldn't mind passing on my sincere apologies for insinuating that she was involved in some way.
Okay. I'll do that. I think you should reach out to her yourself with that. But
Yes.
I'll pass the message on, definitely.
I have done, but she shouted at me and told me never to communicate with her ever again, but sense of guilt.
I'll pass it along.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson.
The only thing I need from you is, well, aside from everything else, I realize I've actually asked quite a lot. The people that got hurt, you know who it was?
Yes?
People weren't meant to get hurt, Mr. White. That wasn't meant to happen. I want to make that right. Can you telegram me the names of the people that got hurt?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Other than that, I'm glad we can put this behind us.
Yes. Mr. Jackson, the person that got hurt was a dear friend of mine, Mr. Arthur King. He is very, very badly wounded. His face is wrapped in bandages. He's lost an eye. He's
Is he wearing a mask?
Yes.
I think I saw him at the theater. Kind of dressed all in white right now?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I saw him at the theater. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I want to make it right. It was never part of the plan for people to be there, people to get hurt. That just wasn't part of it. But, either way, if you can telegram me those names, I'll do the rest.
Yes, of course, Mr. Jackson, I shall do that.
All right. I'm gonna get out your hair. Have a good one.
Before you go, my boy, it's only Mr. King, the person who's been injured, that might be a bit of a challenge with the message that I would be sending out to people. So if you do happen to write to Mr. King, it would be helpful if you could go some way to reconciling anything.
Yeah. Medical bills, things like that. But at the same time, there's somebody you know, I believe, by the name of Bolton.
Yes.
Now, they putting up a lot of little posters. You know about this?
Yes, unfortunately I do. I told him to take them down.
Okay. So, who the fuck is that?
Mr. Bolton is a concerned citizen who comes to my drama clubs, and he is a resident of Saint Denis. We have a wonderful community here of people, and he's a concerned citizen who feels like he wants to help but doesn't know how to. But he's misguided. He's a businessman by trade.
Almost got himself killed while I was still out of town with them little posters.
Yes.
What I will say is that the message I've asked you to relay to your colleagues and your associates, please do the same for him.
Yes, he's on my list of colleagues and associates. Don't you worry, Mr. Jackson.
Okay. Well, I'd like to say it's been a pleasure, but I'm sure it ain't. And, I'll say I'd see you around soon, but I guess I won't.
Yes.
I guess I'll just see you.
Yes. See you, Mr. Jackson. You take care. Oh, my dear Lord. Oh, God. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. I have some news, old boy.
Really?
I'm not sure you're going to like it, but if you'll allow me to just go through the whole thing before you ask any questions, old boy.
Yes, I understand. Go ahead.
I met with Kelly Jackson today. You know Kelly Jackson, yes? He, yes, yes. So Kelly Jackson, of course, was the man that tried to extort us. I received a telegram today out of the blue from him saying, "I would like to meet you, Sir Dickie. I will come alone, unarmed, and I would appreciate you do the same." So I did that. And Mr. Jackson has said to me, and hear me out, please, that there will be no further attacks. There will be no further engagement. There will be no further east and west. And now the move, so to speak, is with us. We can choose to retaliate and open a full-blown war, or we can go about our business and not have to deal with any of them ever again. That's what they're offering. Mr. Jackson did go on to ask me about the details of what happened here on Sunday, and any injuries that might have happened to colleagues. And I, of course, said that one person was severely injured, and he said that there was no intention of ever harming anybody, and that the main purpose was to send a message that we are not welcome in the East, and they likewise will not come here. He's asked for your contact information so that he may apologize to you for any ill will, and oh God, yes, that's it.
Will he be delivering back my face to me, Dickie?
I didn't ask.
Perhaps you might. Perhaps you might ask him why he thinks the lack of intent is somehow an apology. Why he thinks it all being an accident makes it all better. That he thinks they can strike this blow and suffer no consequence.
Yes, of course.
Ask him those questions, Dickie, and give me his reply.
I see. And, I think perchance it might be, why not add him to your list of people to meet?
Why now? Why has he changed his tune?
He said to me, and I'm just obviously reporting what he said, that he's got... he doesn't want a war. He wanted to know... What he said to me was, things out in the West are raw, difficult, and we like it that way. And we don't want the East seeping into the way that we work with your drama clubs and your scouting for locations. So he wants us to keep that out of the West, because he said he's got other things that he's interested in doing, and one of those things is not having a bloody war with the city.
Did he not come here to extort you, Dickie? Did he not strike the first blow?
Yes, that's true. Yes, but,
Something else perhaps to mention to him. Fine, I'll meet the man. He can come here and sit opposite me.
yes.
Those are the terms. Him and I. No one else. Perhaps you to make introductions.
Yes, I see.
No weapons, not that I can fight anywhere. No henchmen.
Yes.
What time was this meeting undertaken?
Approximately 30 minutes ago.
Is he still awake now, do you think?
I can imagine so, yes. Shall I make haste to the telegram office and communicate to him?
If he can come in the next hour, I must retire.
Yes, of course. Leave it with me. I'll be back momentarily.